Hey guys, how are you? I'm Helsloot and today I'm gonna give you a little bit more in depth about a plugin I really love to use. Uh, it's been called Cthulhu and it's made by Xfer. It has been designed by a guy named Steve Duda and he makes amazing plugins like Serum, LFO Tool, the OTT, and yeah, he also made Cthulhu, which I really love and have been using a lot in my projects. And I talked about it in my last masterclass with Mixtank, which was about my production When We Meet Again. And today I'm gonna give you a bit more in-depth information about Cthulhu. I'm gonna start off with an empty project, and then I'm gonna open up Cthulhu and explain how you route it in Ableton. Uh, the routing is different in every plugin or in every DAW. So if you use Logic or Cubase, for instance, the routing is very different. For in Logic, it's super easy because you have that MIDI FX chain and you can just slide it in there. But in Ableton, it's a little bit more complicated. So let me show you. I'll just pull up Cthulhu and drag it in the first track. Here we go. So as you can see, it's running instantly. You have this very cool monster here in the corner, and which is the Cthulhu monster. You may have heard it from South Park. So first off, you'll see the arpeggiator part, and below you see the key part. And what it actually does, it's an arpeggiator, but it's also it draws out a lot of chords on your keyboard. So when you press one key on your keyboard, an entire chord will pull up or play. And what Steve Duda actually did, what makes this machine so brilliant, he extracted all the chord progressions from classical pieces of Bach. So let me just close the R part by pressing this button here, and then you just keep only the to see the chord part. And if you click on chord presets, you'll see every classical piece of Bach. So when I press, I don't know, Bach's piece 16, it just maps it out over your entire keyboard. So when I play something, let me just throw down this master. So when I press a key, you can hear it's playing a chord instantly. So, well, I'm playing a C now. You can see in the plugin which keys are triggered. But if I move down on my keyboard, like I press an octave lower on a C, you can hear a different chord. When I play like all the keys after each other, it sounds a bit like this. So yeah, that's like an entire classical piece of Bach, and it keeps going on and on. And this way, it really inspires me to use a lot of weird chords after each other. I mean, I can play some keys, but I'm not the best key player. I love to draw MIDI and stuff, and yeah, this really inspires me every time I use it. And as I explained in my other masterclass, for me, when I pull up this machine, for me it's a 90% hit. There's almost not a time when I don't use it, or I don't get inspired by it. So if I'm looking for chords, yeah, it could be something like this. And I'm like, okay, this chord is cool, and then I'm looking for another chord that fits with it. And then you already have like a cool progression, which you might not find when you play keys on your own. Let me just show you how to route it to to one of your MIDI instruments. That's when the cool things happen. Let me just pull up a diva on the second channel. Here we go. So now it's just playing one note. let us route it to the diva. So the input, I put it to Cthulhu, and then the post effects also Cthulhu, and now it should work. So when I trigger both of them, you'll hear this. So what I do, I turn down the volume of my first channel where the Cthulhu is, and then on the second channel you can hear the diva play the chord progression. So I like this. I like this, for instance. So yeah, if you find something cool, this is how I work actually. I'm always looking for 4 chords that are really triggering me, and start recording. And you can see it lays out those chords, and you're able to easily. So let me just enter a click. So it could be something like this. Super dark, but hey, I mean, if you're looking for something else, you can. Could be even cooler though. Let me record that real quick. So yeah, so you see these chords here. Let me just trigger this one here. Make a quick MIDI loop. Nice. Let me quantize this because it disappears when I try to make one clip out of it. I press Command J for consolidating. Then a quick quantize and a legato. And now we have this. Actually kind of cool, right? So these are type of chords I would usually not play on a keyboard. For me, that is. And you can also see, let me just draw this one here. That's also a way you can look for chords. Just scroll through your MIDI roll or your piano roll if you don't like one chord. Also very cool. So yeah. So here you have a simple progression. And then I'm gonna explain the second function of Cthulhu, which is the arpeggiator. So if I keep this MIDI, for instance, let me just make a 3rd channel. And I'm gonna go for a more plucky thing that, well, layers nicely on those chords. Let me see, for instance, a plug I've used for this bootleg I made of Flume a while ago. And if I route it on the same way as I did with the diva, so on the input I put Cthulhu, and then on the post effects Cthulhu again. Then it follows these chords. So let me trigger them both and see what it plays. So yeah, super nice. Let me pull open the Cthulhu and show you the arpeggiator. And now it's this. So when I play it, it starts triggering the notes. And it's not really triggering that on point because I didn't quantize what I played. Let me do that right away. legato. So yeah, now it's nice and tight. Cool, right? So here's the arpeggiating function, and the cool thing of this arpeggiator is it's a little bit different from all the other ones, you know, and that's because it's super easy to work with, because in this matrix you can just, well, turn off notes and on like a normal arpeggiator, but you can also flip well, the way it responds. So for instance, normally you have to select a function on an arpeggiator where it goes up or down, or random, or up and down, or 2 octaves of whatever. But here you can just select one button, and then it flips every note. So you never know what it's going to do when you just fill in these kind of, yeah, how do I call it? Let me just call it clips. So now every note responds differently. So when I draw something like this, super randomly, let's see what happens. So as you see me playing around with it, you see me also turn on these different buttons here and below. And what that does, you see this number popping up, and that's the number of the chord. So if your chord exists of 4 keys, you can select if you wanted to play the first note, the second, the third, or the fourth. Or if you have like a chord with 8 keys, you can just select them here. And as you can see here, you can, well, select different kind of matrices, like gates, harmony, a late pitch, octaves, or random selection, velocity. You can also like draw them in. So for an octave, you can just, well, tell the machine to go 1 octave down on the third note, or yeah, 2 octaves up on the fourth, whatever. You can get as weird as you want. And that's, yeah, what makes this machine like the ultimate arpeggiating machine for me, and yeah, super inspirational. Super weird, right? And then usually I just do a little bit of timing. You have this swing knob here and this gate knob. You can really just, yeah, go always with it and just experiment with it. It's just fun to play with. So when I turn on the chords and the pluck, so yeah, you can go, yeah, super in depth with it, like, yeah, play around with pitch or anything, which doesn't make it better in this case. And I'm not aware of every function, so I haven't really get like this deep into this machine, but yeah, for me, I usually just print out my chords and then maybe adjust a few notes as well. And yeah, this is the way I've worked on When We Meet Again also, which you can see in my other masterclass. That's the late function. You can nudge the timing to the left and the right. So yeah, that's basically Cthulhu. I hope I explained everything about the machine you wanted to know. Maybe it's something for you, I don't know. Yeah, don't forget to check out my other masterclass with Mixtank, which is about my production when we meet again. Thanks again for this opportunity. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.